We're back. Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Monday night's BigFooty Tigercast. Bit of a surprise show. Kind of come up. Well, I'd always thought we would do a show about the draft, but I had been pretty time poor and not really planned it overly well. So it kind of came together very last minute. But I think it's worked out well because a few other things have popped up today in the Richmond media sphere in a very timely manner that we're able to talk about too, which has turned out very, very nicely. So good to see a few people in chat already from YouTube. Welcome, Kano's in chat. Sarge, who else has we got in there? They're talking to each other.
Min.
Michael, Min's in it. Yeah, Az, what's going on? How are we all doing? But CB, welcome back to the show, mate. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good. Yeah, I'm pretty much no bugger all on this one. I've been very preoccupied with cricket and work and a lot of other things. So I'm looking to learn a lot tonight, and I'm very excited, and I hope the viewers are as well. But Grok and Michaels, I hope you've been going fantastic, and all the viewers out there, hope you're flying. Hope you're going well, lads. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And before we go over to Grok, now a lot of people who watch cricket would have seen the heroics of Glenn Maxwell the other week, hitting 200, just could not move. Now, I have heard rumours that one CB17 might have peeled off a cheeky 50 with an injury as well, just channeling you in a maxi.
Yeah, might have. If Skirls jumps on tonight, he witnessed it. Yeah, might have torn a hammy in the first sort of 8 overs or so, and then batted for another 15 or so overs, and yeah, went okay, but certainly not the Maxwell standards. And yeah, I'm old. That's all.
A 50's a 50, so that's all that matters. And Grok, welcome back, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, going well. Good to be back. Always I find this time of year pretty exciting as a draft watcher and sort of keep tabs on some of the youngsters. So this is sort of my Christmas, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So to give it a little bit of background of what we're going to do tonight. Now, Min, I'll use your username first. If you want me to reveal who you are, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep it as vague as possible because I know it's obviously your KCB.
There's just someone there in the chats, mate. You might want to take them out. They're plugging their business in there. You might want to just.
It doesn't let me for
Twitch. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which is annoying.
Okay. Apologies.
Yeah. No, I saw it and I tried to do it. But
if I get it up on my Twitch thing as a mod, do you reckon I'd be able to delete it?
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Kill it.
So what we're going to do tonight is we've got someone who's a very good family friend of the Tigercast show, Min, and also the Pink Panthers. And he works in AFL circles in the draft and recruiting area and talent identification. And we've been very, very lucky enough that he has actually sent us through his mock draft. So this is all of his hard work, all of his talent scout notes, many, many hours. Like the hours he does is ridiculous for all of this. So he's been very kind enough to send through his mock draft. Now, I won't go through the full 60 odd or whatever we got up to, but I think we'll at least go through the first 2 rounds, especially because Richmond's picks don't sort of kick into play until the second round. And we'll add in some comments along the way. And I think Grok might have some thoughts about who we might take. And it'll be interesting to see if it differs to Mins or not. And CB, I'm in the same boat as you, mate, and I'll be learning a hell of a lot. So we'll go through some draft stuff first, and then we'll talk about the other Richmond stuff that's took place in the media today. But the draft actually kicks off next Monday. I think it is the 20th of November, which is just the first round, and then on the Tuesday, the 21st, is when they do the second round or the other rounds. So they're doing that split format again. Do we think that works? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to copy, but I'm not sure if that. I think they spend too much time talking. If they just actually got on with it.
Yeah, I think they've sort of changed it over the past 5 or 6 years where the top 10, they sort of focus on interviewing them after each pick and things like that. And then, yeah, it's more just about the talent scouts, I guess, providing viewers with an overview of each player as they get picked in the first round. But, yeah, I think dragging it out over 2 days isn't necessarily the greatest idea, but I suppose with the live pick trading being introduced, I suppose it gives clubs that extra time to sort of formulate deals if they need to.
I agree with Richo 3121 for the record.
It's a wank.
It's a wank. Love the draft, hate the 2 nights from Vince. Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'm going to flick over to a spreadsheet that was sent through. So I won't be able to see any comments coming through, but if anything jumps out, just shout out, fellas. So maybe I'll read through the first 10, and if there's any comments or anyone wants to put something in chat, feel free to do so. So this is a mock draft as of 25 minutes ago. I think Min sent it through to me, so it's pretty live based on all the research and everything he's done. So we're pretty lucky to have it, given the job he does. So round one, he's got pick 1, West Coast Eagles, Harley Reid, who's obviously Vic Country, a hybrid player. Pick 2, Gold Coast, Jed Walter from the Gold Coast Suns Academy. He's a key forward. Pick 3 for North Melbourne, Colby McKetcher, Tassie Devils, an outside midfielder. Pick 4 for North Melbourne, Zane Dersma, Gippsland Power, a hybrid forward. Pick 5 for Hawthorn, Daniel Curtin, Claremont utility. Pick 6 for the Bulldogs, Nick Watson, Vic Metro Eastern Rangers, a small forward. Pick 7 for the Suns, Ethan Reid, who's another Gold Coast Academy player in the ruck. Pick 8 for the D's, Nate Caddy, who I know we all wanted to try and get him to slide to Richmond. Northern Knights, a hybrid forward. Pick 9 for the Giants, Coltine Tholstrup, if I've said that correctly, from WA, a midfielder/forward. And pick 10 for Geelong, Connor O'Sullivan, Murray Bushrangers, a key defender. So that's who Min had in the first 10. I suppose the one that I want to talk about first is the Harley Reid one. And what I find fascinating about this is North Melbourne doing all these fanciful trades to try and get the pick 1 to get Harley Reid. Why not just lose the game in round 24, whatever it was, against West Coast, and you would have had it? Like, you've just created an unnecessary shitstorm, and you would have had him. It just blows my mind that they even went down that trade path when they could have just lost the game and no one would have blinked an eyelid.
Having said that, mate, Zane Dersma at pick 4, absolute gun. They won't miss out with that kid. He's a star. He's very good.
Yeah, the pick 4 is the interesting one because they'll have 2 options north in Dersma or Curtin.
Yeah, he's been highly rated as well, Curtin. Yeah,
I'll be happy with either one. Curtin is an absolute beast of a defender, and I personally think that they will take Curtin only for the simple fact that they've lost McKay.
Yeah.
So I do think that they
need needs based.
They need another defender coming through. Although they did sign Biggie, but I do think Curtin's just too good to pass up. I don't think that Dersma is much of a pressing need for them.
Yeah. Travis asked, what do they mean by hybrid? I'm guessing that means someone who can play defense and forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would be how I interpret that. So, the top 10 will be fascinating to see how that plays out. Nate Caddy, disappointing that he's probably going to go early because I know you spoke highly of him early on, Grok.
Yeah, Caddy I was sort of the one where I knew we were probably no chance to get him, especially after we traded our first. The one that I am so disappointed in is Colton Tholstrup. He's my absolute favourite player in this draft, and if he goes to GWS working alongside Toby Green, they're going to be very, very hard to stop as a forward. Tholstrup is an athlete, is a beast of a player. Just long kick, like really hits the scoreboard hard. He's got great athleticism, strong, can take a mark. He's the complete package.
Wasn't he, Grok? Wasn't that one? That was the one that Tigers had a bit of interest. That's the one we were trying to trade into to get, wasn't it? The key forward out of Western Australia.
So we were trying to trade up for Tholstrup and George Stevens, who I'll touch on a bit later. But Stevens is looking like he might slip, so maybe not so much.
That's a good call, James Racing. If GWS get him, we'll just trade for him after as one of our feeder clubs. So that's a very good call. All right, I'll jump back across. We'll go now through picks 11 to 20. So Min has gone with pick 11, Essendon, Ollie Murphy from Sandy Dragons, who's a key defender. Pick 12 for Adelaide, Caleb Windsor from the Eastern Rangers, an outside mid. Pick 13 for Melbourne, James Leakey. They're from the Tassie Devils, medium defender. Pick 14 for the Swans, Zane Stolowski. Jesus Christ. Zane, any danger of some good surnames. Key position utility. Pick 15 for St Kilda, Riley Sanders from Sandy Dragons, an inside midfielder. Pick 16 for the Hawks, Will McCabe, South Australia, Central Districts, key
Is that
defender.
a father-son? Is that a father-son?
It doesn't have it listed there. I'm not sure if that's a possibility or not. I mean, if you're listening, you can maybe clarify, but I'm not sure. It doesn't say. Pick 17 for Adelaide, Ari Schoenmaker. Is that a relation to Ryan Schoenmaker? Is that same bloodline?
Langer makers.
Tassie Devils, key position utility. Pick 18 for the Bulldogs, Jordan Croft from Calder Cannons, key forward. Pick 19, North Melbourne, Lance Collard from Subiaco, WA, a hybrid small forward. Gee, I love the hybrid small forwards, yeah. And pick 20, GWS, Harry Di Mattia from Dandenong Stingrays, rebounding half back.
Yeah, so McCabe is a father-son.
There you go.
Okay, he's a father-son. So that's going to be, it's interesting that North Melbourne going after another hybrids, another small.
Although Collard is freakish, he's in a very similar mold to Bolton. He's just got that X Factor, electrifying sort of highlight reel, and a bit like Shea's, a bit undisciplined, bit of a hothead, and can give away some dumb free kicks. So the comparisons with Bolton are very, very apt at this point. Very slight-framed, but freakish talent.
Any other players of note in that second batch?
Zach Kostelski is very much a player who can play forward or back.
From WA, yep.
Yeah, he's if I can put a comparison to one of our players, he's sort of like Bolt. He's got that tremendous athleticism, can play forward or back, even on a wing. So if Sydney get him, they'll be pretty set with McDonald and a couple of their other younger talls. So yeah, very good pick for them if they do get him.
Be honest, you just wanted to actually be able to say his name, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I struggled there. So Collard is around 181 centimeters, so he can play small or a little taller. David said he's a beautiful kick. I'll give him that. So there we go. So he's who are our hybrids? Sounds like a purposeless car. All right, I'll go through the final names to round out the first round picks, starting with pick 21, North Melbourne. I know we all know this, but geez, they've got a lot of picks inside the first 26. If they get these wrong, they need to just pack it in. Archer Reid, Gippsland Power, key position utility. Pick 22, North Melbourne again. Mitchell Edwards, Peel Thunder, Ruck. Pick 23, Collingwood, Logan Morris, Western Jets, medium forward. Pick 24, Adelaide, Riley Hardman, Swan Districts, WA, medium defender. Pick 25, St Kilda, Charlie Edwards, Sandy Dragons, outside mid. And pick 26, Carlton, Tu Jiath, Gippy Power, pacey half-back, rounding out the first round.
Relative of the Jiath who plays for...
Yeah, CJ Hawks.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
His brother.
And who is quite pacey in his own right as well. So that's, that would be a good selection if pairing up with Sard off the back line.
The young fella has a leap on him. Can Pogo go? Like he can jump.
Yeah. Vertical leap. Very, very strong.
Yeah, I've seen
so
it's good. Yeah.
Would he be someone that could potentially play senior football year one? Or are there anyone in this first round that you'd say needs development time? Or would you say these days most of the round one picks in some capacity should be aiming to get games, not necessarily round one, but have the ability to crack into the senior squad from the get-go?
I think Archie Reid probably won't play round footy next year. Again, young talls generally don't unless their club's screaming out for them. I don't think North is desperate for that if they do get Reid. And probably Collard may get a game towards the end. Again, still very slight-framed and with his talent. Probably don't want to risk him. But all the others who are very solidly built, every chance to play games next year. All
right, we'll take a look into the second round now, which is obviously where some of our picks, I think two of our picks start to come into play, which is nice. So round two, kicking off with Gold Coast, pick 27, Jake Rogers from the Gold Coast Academy, inside midfielder. Pick 28, the Eagles, Clay Hall, Peel Thunder, medium defender. Pick 29, Geelong, Angus Hasty, Geelong Falcons, a winger. Pick 30, Carlton, Ashton Moyer, Glenelg, South Australia, a hybrid forward. So now we get up to pick 31, which is what we have down as the first pick for Richmond. And Min has gone with George Stevens, Greater Western Vic Rebels, Vic Country, inside mid. I won't go on to the next ones yet because we'll stop there because it's Richmond based. But George Stevens, what do we know about him, lads? And anyone else in chat? Anyone heard anything on George Stevens and your thoughts on that being a possibility?
He's definitely one that we are keen on. There's been a lot of talk about us trading up because there was interest from Adelaide early doors. Adelaide were in the mix to take him with their first pick. Stevens is a big lad. He's 189 centimeters, and some of the draft websites have him listed at about 100 kgs for a midfielder. So he's a big, barrel-chested midfielder. Loves to tackle, loves to find his own ball. Very good around a contest.
To add to your size comments, 101 kilos as a 189 centimeter midfielder, if you don't mind.
Yeah, he's basically a fridge on legs. So move over Jack Graham with the fridge nickname. I think that's going to be passed on if we get Stevens. But athleticism, not necessarily his strong suit, and his disposal can be a bit shaky, which with Uze's comments about drafting more players with decent kicking skills, not sure that Stevens fits that mold, but again, he's just a bash and crash type mid, and definitely he'll be the player that takes over for Prestia.
So will he just be an extractor, just getting and dishing out to the players who can use it?
He'll be like a Cripps sort of player in that just get in, get the ball.
So obviously the main question mark is going to come up about his speed and endurance being that size. I know that's probably something that's probably the easiest thing for clubs to train, I think, is by trimming someone down and getting the miles into the league. So we obviously mustn't be too deterred by that. But it sounds like some clubs have obviously had interest higher up too.
Yeah, but with his speed, the role that he plays in being at the bottom of the pack, getting the ball, knocking it out, winning it for the others like Taranto and Prestia, Bolton, things like that, his pace isn't really going to matter unless it's in transition. So yeah, I think his strengths in a contest far outweigh his negatives, and he's definitely the type of player that we've been screaming out for ever since Shane Tuck's been retired. So just that sort of bull at a contest. So yeah, definitely I think Stevens is a very good fit for us.
All right, very good. Well, I'll move on to the rest of these ones. So pick 32 for the Gold Coast, Will Graham from the Gold Coast Academy. Geez, they've got a handy academy. He's a ruck. Pick 33, Brisbane, Will Green from Northern Knights, who's a ruck. Pick 34, Essendon, Phoenix Gothard. What a name. Murray Bush Rangers, hybrid small forward. Pick 35, Collingwood, Luke Lloyd. Sandy Dragons, key forward. Pick 36, Fremantle, Cohen Sanchez. Surely Dirty Sanchez gets up for the nickname there. East Fremantle, small forward. Pick 37, Sydney, Caden Cleary from the Swans Academy as a midfielder. Pick 38, Essendon, Will Dawson, Gippy Power, key defender. Pick 39, West Coast, Joel Fraser. Well, I might have said that wrong. Great from the Victorian Rebels is a winger. Pick 40, the Bulldogs. Luaman Leal from the Rebels, half-back. Pick 41, Brisbane Lions. Taylor Goad, South Australia, a ruckman. Pick 42, St Kilda. Cooper Simpson, Dandy Stingrays, a midfielder/forward. And then we get to our next pick, Richmond, pick 43, as it will be after all the other selections come into play. And Min has gone with Kane McAuliffe from North Adelaide, South Australia, a goal-kicking midfielder. A goal-kicking midfielder, which everyone loves, a goal-kicking midfielder. So, Kane McAuliffe, anyone in chat heard of Kane? What are your thoughts on Kane? Grok, CB, if you've got any thoughts. And Min, if you're in chat, any additional thoughts as well?
McAuliffe is another one who does some very good work in a contest. Very much can win his own ball. His contested game is very well rounded, and he's a very penetrating kick. That's the one thing that probably separates his game from a lot of the other contested players is his kicking penetration. Roosts the ball. Definitely loves to tackle, but And he's a solid size at 186 and 186 centimeters and 87 kilos. So he's very solid, ready to go. Probably just lacks a little bit in his hurt factor. A bit like Tom Mitchell in a way. He doesn't really get much of the ball on the outside. But when he does, he generally does sort of use it well. Maybe could probably use it a little bit better. But yeah, definitely another one that I think that'll be solid for us long term.
Yeah. Well, we always need goal kicking mids. So, what do we think the likelihood of someone like Kane McCall sitting there still at pick 43?
I reckon it's pretty solid. I think Adelaide might be a chance with some of their selections. I think they're crying out for someone like him, especially with Rory Sloane getting on and players like that. But yeah, I definitely think he's likely to be there. If not, he'll be taken within a couple of picks of either before or after us if we decide to go in another direction.
Okay. All right, I'll read out the last couple for round 2. Pick 44 for the Hawks, Kalsha Deer, Sandy Dragons, Keith Ford. Pick 45, Melbourne, Harvey Johnston, Sandy Dragons, outside mid. And pick 46, GWS, Will Patton from South Australia, a key defender. I won't go through round 3. Well, I'll skip ahead to round 4, which is where our next pick comes in at with pick 58 once everything gets pushed back a little bit. Pick 58, he's got... Can I help you now? Pick 58, he's got Richmond with Sam Van Royen from Claremont, WA as a key forward. Now, a key forward is interesting because it's something that we definitely need. Have you guys heard much on Sam?
I haven't heard, but I think I think it'll make a lot of people. Why did we pick Gibcus over Van Royen? You know, those comments from a couple of years ago. If we get Van Royen, I think that'll make him happy. Be a very good project player.
So I'm trying to open up a link. Is
there's one for West there. Naish, any chance? What's the story on Naish? Grok?
Charlie is rookie at this stage. Yeah, he won't get taken in the national draft. He's very much a project player. Definitely a rookie prospect.
All right, so I was just trying to scroll through and see if I could find any more information on him, but I can't at short notice. But so that's what it sort of looks like for our 3 picks. But you know, it's a bit sucky. Obviously, we won't have much action happening in the first round, but it doesn't sound like it wasn't without trying. It sounds like we were trying desperately to trade up into that first round, which can obviously still happen with live trading. Is there any whispers on live trading on the night, us trying to get up into higher pick areas?
Dusty to Gold Coast for pick.
Dusty to Gold Coast.
No, I think our live trading is pretty much done. I think we're resigned to the fact that we'll be taking some picks in the 30s. Clubs are just sort of holding out hope for some sliders from sort of early days. Sort of like Ashton Moyer was one who was projected to be a top 10 pick about this time last year, and he's slid a long way, sort of like Sonzi did last year, not last year, but the year before. So yeah, clubs are generally hesitant to trade picks inside the top 20, top 25, because generally there's 2 or 3 players that do sort of tend to slip down the rankings as the year develops. So yeah, I don't think we'll see us upgraded, though we are trying, but I just doubt it happens.
Okay, yeah, we just don't have the currency, I don't think. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. So, Min, I thank you very much for sending that through. And he is about to send me the profile for Sam Van Royen. So once he sends that through to me on the Discord, I'll open that up and I'll read it out. But obviously, at the top 10 to 15 are pretty self-explanatory. And I think from an expectation point of view, the players that we pick up are probably not going to see much action for the next couple of years, I wouldn't have thought. Would that be the general consensus, especially taking him sort of from the 30s onwards? Are we backing in the talent we've taken the last few years to now step up, and then they can start to fill the next wave?
Well, I think we have to, mate. We've got these guys. You got Sonzi, Dow, Banks. You got these young blokes there in the wings that need opportunity. Even Hugo still, hasn't played. He's played sub 20 games. There's a lot of blokes. I actually went back and watched the Hawthorn game from this year, only during the week. And there's some really it's Banks, isn't it? Banks played that game.
Yep.
Off the halfback line.
Yeah, Banks. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And mate, he was fantastic. And then you look at that Port Adelaide game, which was ice. There's some, I think we're quite right to back some of those young blokes in and then reload again moving forward. We had to restock the midfield. We had to do it. And I don't want to lose Jack Romer and those guys, but there's probably going to be opportunities down the line for picks as well, moving on as the list changes and develops, because we've got a new coaching group in there. We don't know how they view the list.
Yeah, exactly right.
I mean, yeah, the 5 picks that we took in 2021, obviously with Gibcus, Brown, Banks, all those players, most of them have played AFL football. They've at least made their debuts, and they've all looked at least comfortable at the level. Obviously, Gibcus looked very, very good. Banks has shown that he'll be a quality player. Judson Clark, another one that's shown very much glimpses. I think all this stuff about we've traded away our future. We've taken, I think, 9 or 10 picks over the last 3 drafts. One of them was 5. Like we haven't really traded away our future, because we did invest so heavily in one draft that we covered a whole heap of areas over the park anyway. Obviously, we took Gibcus. We've got Samson Royen, who's developing, who's showing glimpses, and again, another year under his belt is gonna be solid. I think he comes in for Jack. I think he's definitely best 22 now. And then of course we've taken some younger players. Seth Campbell, I rate very highly as a halfback flanker. Extremely good kick on the kid. And especially if Baker gets moved around a bit, Seth Campbell has every chance to make his debut this year, as long as he can keep over his injuries. But yeah, like I really don't think our list is in as bad shape as people make out. Like we may make finals if Lynch stays fit, we may not. But I think in a couple of years' time, when the kids come good, we'll be right thereabouts again.
Mate, Kaczynski's only 23. He's 198 centimetres, and he's built like a brick shithouse. You got to remember, his debut year, he tore it up Kaczynski at Hawthorn. He can play. So, don't discount him either.
No, definitely not. So before we keep cracking on with some of the current players, Min has sent me through the profile of Sam Van Rooyen, who he's got pegged as our 4th round pick. So I'll just read it out as it is, as it was sent. Claremont tall forward, 193 centimetres, 83 kilos. Strengths, aerial ability, agility, kick penetration and upside, improvements, consistency and production. The younger brother of Melbourne's Jacob Van Rooyen, Sam is cut from a similar cloth with a few differences. The largely key forward focused younger sibling is still filling out his frame at 83 kilos, but has elite agility and a great vertical leap. His older brother produced some promising games at AFL level for the Demons this season, helped keep his younger brother in the minds of recruiters. Van Rooyen Jr. is not the finished product just yet, with his production and 4-quarter consistency still a work in progress. However, between his mobility and presence in the air, there's plenty to like about him. Along with those traits, Van Rooyen has a penetrating kick, and in a challenging spot inside 50 for sand gropers, the forward tried to make the best of it. So very much a project type player, which is what you would fully expect in the 4th round. So you don't mind rolling the dice with those type of picks, and the key forward is obviously an area we need some coverage in. I'm not saying he's going to come in and do anything wonderful straight away, but especially since we got rid of Bradkey, obviously Jack Rewalt's gone, and we're at one Tom Lynch injury away from hitting the panic button.
Your mate that got next, he's back in there, and he's already talking shit again. If you might.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rosie,
Bye-bye.
last
Rosie.
warning. Don't mind you watching, but stop posting crap. Otherwise, I'll ban you. So, there's the summary on Van Rooyen. But, Min, again, mate, I want to thank you tremendously for sending through your mock draft. I know you've put a ridiculous amount of work into it, up at all hours and everything like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So, you've seen a lot of footy and a lot of talent over the course of many years. So, I really appreciate taking the time to put that together and send it through. So, hopefully we get the ones we need. All right, well, let's.
Do we touch on Naismith?
Yeah, Naismith. I saw his photo posted on the Richmond Twitter page. He had his first session at the club today. I didn't see anything about Kaczynski though. Did he train today?
Yeah,
he did. I didn't.
Yeah,
see
I'm pretty sure he did the 2K time trial.
Naismith is an interesting one, isn't he? I mean, he had a pretty good year at Port Melbourne, I think it was. Sounds like smart insurance, really. Like it doesn't feel like it's that outlandish.
No, I mean, yeah, and with Soldo going, like it's either like it's if Nank gets injured, it's either throw Bolter in the ruck full time or Royen, and neither one of them is gonna be your number one ruckman for a full game for however long Lynch is out for. Nank's out for. So yeah, Soldo Naismith definitely a solid backup, and if he can get over his injuries like he did at Port Melbourne, he's a decent quality AFL ruckman. So I think we've got a good one there.
I reckon the Rosie's had a good run, mate. It's time to
that's it.
Enjoy your life, Rosie. Been a pleasure.
Beamer out of here.
Beamer out of here. Bye-bye.
All right. So as we alluded to, though, wait, what? Colliner came fifth in the time trial?
Yes,
really?
He did. Yes.
The dude's had an epic back injury, which is what kept him out of playing all of last year. He just couldn't get himself right. That's fascinating.
Doesn't surprise me being a basketballer, though, with the way they have to cover the court for however long, up and down, just repeat efforts. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that a basketballer was there. Speaking of basketballers, though, did anyone see Oliver Hayes-Brown at training today?
Yeah, So I'll cite the source was from Punt Road End, and obviously the track watcher there, Caesar. And there's a few comments in amongst there that apparently the Wolfman struggled a bit by all accounts.
Yeah.
But he's a project. Yeah, he's another project player. So what are you expecting?
I don't mind project players. And like for what it's worth, I know Kalina was a project player as well, but I actually thought he showed some good signs in his first couple of games before the back injury kind of crippled him. I think it was to do with his sheer size that they weren't sure how long it was going to take for the muscles to fully recover, the back being such a very precious, part of the body.
Yeah.
So for him to be up and running and doing that is pretty amazing. That's very, very good.
Carmo, all that stuff, that's fine. But let's talk about the real sexy part of today.
Gibkiss.
Return of the man that Luke Meehan personally tried to kill and destroy.
Amputated.
Lazarus.
Lazarus.
Gibkiss. What a sight for sore eyes.
I mean,
Gibkiss doing the time trials. Thank God.
So did he go get the treatment? Did that happen, or did the?
Yeah, he went over to Qatar, I believe, a couple of days after the best and fairest. Correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, he's back. And the thing that pleases me is they said that he was going to have an interrupted preseason. They said he was not going to do the full preseason, and the fact that he's back day one doing the 2K time trial shows very promising signs. Wouldn't
even care if he came stone cold last. Just the fact that he was out there running it ticks a huge box. And just how much of a beast does he look compared to the other younger kids he was next to? He just looks like a really matured body, which I know he put on a lot of size last year, and obviously we didn't get to see it, in all its glory. But yeah, that's hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything that they get that recovery right, because someone mentioned earlier in the chat that him coming back in next year, hopefully, is like a brand new draft pick. Because we've not had him for a year and a half, and we know the impact he can have on the team and the flexibility it gives us, dare I say, for a Bolter or a Gibkiss to go forward if need be to mix things up.
Yeah, and he just needs one good year, and I think that's it for Grimes. I think Grimes definitely struggled this year at times. So Gibkiss coming back is definitely going to help out the backline tremendously, especially with Tyler Young, with Young, Bolter, and Gibkiss down there. That's our backline sorted for the next 8-9 years.
Correct, right.
And Hugo, goes to me. Yep.
The other exciting news is Tom Lynch will be back running in the Ultra G machine within about probably 3 weeks. So Big Sexy will have a limited preseason to a degree, but he'll get a fair chunk of it in. So to have Gibcus and Lynch available for round one selection, barring no interruptions, is just automatically, we are such a better team already. It's
Structurally, yeah. And
So
congratulations to Lynch as well. He just got married, by the way.
Absolutely. So Lynch is categorically out of the moon boot.
Yeah, the wedding photos say he's out of the moon boot.
Oh, give me in 2 weeks, we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He's out of the moon boot, and a week later you see his photograph and he's back in it.
If you're watching, Luke, I'm just taking the piss. Don't get your knife and find out where I live, mate. It's all good. I still want my legs.
And Hugo Ralphsmith, I think he won it last year too, but won the 2K time trial again today. But I don't think it was all the players that were there. I'm pretty sure it was some of the young'uns, and apparently Marlon Pickett was there as well. But Hugo's an interesting one for me because he's definitely got the engine, the pace, but just couldn't crack into the side consistently. Long-term view and even sort of this 2024 view, do you guys see him as someone who should be trying to lock himself into the 22, or is he still another season away from doing that? Is he going to be in and out again? What are your thoughts?
He was being played out of position as a halfback flanker, in my opinion. Like he doesn't have the defensive capabilities, and he's not accountable enough to have a direct opponent. So as a halfback flanker, I don't think it worked. In the first couple of years that he played, where he was showing some really good signs, it was in the forward half of the ground, on the wing, pushing forward, kicking long range goals, or passing it into the 50. So I think if he does play, Macca's spots in a bit of strife this year if he continues to show, what he did today. And as much as I love Macca, I think he's another one that's sort of in the twilight of his career. And yeah, I definitely could see Hugo making the wing spot his own at some point this year.
Yeah, June Tobacco is just that dickhead reincarnated, for the record, if you want to get rid of that one as well. I think that Jack Ross took the opportunity last season that Hugo couldn't. And I think Hugo's got some terrific attributes. But the question is about, like, are they going to do something like put? So probably with Uzo, you don't know what they're thinking. Like, I would think McIntosh at 32. He's they'll be looking at his position. Is he 32? No, McIntosh 30.
He was drafted in the same draft as Dusty, or the year
so he's
after.
about 31, 32. Yeah,
31. Yeah,
right. And Marlon Pickett's 34. So in my eyes, if you're looking at two spots that are open for the Tigers,
it's the wings.
It's the wings, right? So you're not out of line suggesting that Hugo, there's got to be an injection of pace there somewhere, or something will change. I mean, Jack Ross played some good footy on the wing.
He filled in the Lambo role as that transition mid from between the wing, mid, and forward line, which I think he played extremely well in that role.
Yeah, I think he found his spot. So there's some opportunities there in that Tigers 22.
Yeah,
for the young blokes that want to take it, like Trezise, Banks, I would say Hugo, those blokes, they've all got a shot at it somewhere.
And of course, you got Dow, who I think comes straight in for Cochin. I think, he cemented his spot over the last 3 or 4 weeks of last season, and his ability in traffic and that little burst of speed that he has really stood out to our one pace midfield, being polite. Very, very, very slow midfield. So yeah, Dow I think was very, very solid. So
and disappointing for Sonzi, because you'd think Sonzi won't have a hell of a pre-season. He's missing the first 4 weeks, right, which is just bitterly disappointing. But hopefully he learns, right?
Yeah, still got high hopes for Sonzi. I'm hoping he comes on, but a few people have noted that Cumberland did look. I know it's pre-season, but it looked very upbeat in the video that the club had. So he's obviously being very engaged and getting involved with it all. The other highlight for me was the old grey fox, Chrissy Newman. He was looking good out there,
looking sharp.
Jesus, he could chuck a jumper on and go play. Same as Zeeble. If we're ever in trouble, need some depth, Zeebs can jump on out there and play. But it's like you would love to know how often they've all caught up as a coaching group, what they've planned, what they're going to be rolling out. Like it's a total new look for us on the training track and in the coach's box.
Just hit up the corner for a few frothies and match strategize.
Well, that's the question we'll ask too. So we haven't had a show since. What does the audience think of Zeebel's appointment into the coaching group? I was rapt. I think he will definitely add to the group. I think he's got something to offer.
Yeah, he was one of the most underrated players in the comp. Yeah, his kicking could be a little hit and miss, but didn't take a backward step, gave his all, and he'll teach a few of our midfielders to really go hard. Like he was see ball, get ball, sort of bull at a gate type, and I think that's what our midfield's been lacking a little bit. And yeah, I think he'll really show him a bit of midfield craft, and I think that's really going to work for Hopper. I think Hopper's going to be the main benefit out of having Zeebel at the club because they played very similar roles as midfielders.
It was very left field for me. I didn't see this one coming at all. I like that he's straight out the game, so he actually has that really sound understanding, and he can relate to the players as well. I think a lot better too with him being fresh out of the game. But yeah, he's always been a good leader for the Kangaroos. I know his form as a player probably dropped away in the last few years, being played in a wide range of positions that he shouldn't have been playing in. But you can tell it's something he's wanted to do for a while. He's put in the work, and yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to have fresh voices. Like I must admit, early on, I wasn't sure if we needed to go fresh or stay with what we knew in terms of Mini. But the more I sort of see things and hear things now, I'm really glad we went the way we did. Z, wonderful player. I'm not. Yeah, I sort of get what you mean, but he's still a good leader nonetheless. Yeah, I suppose the proof will be in the pudding, I guess. With
the Premiership team pedigree for me, I think that's overblown. Like, does that make Nathan Ablett a better player than Tony Lockett? Like, premierships are a team thing, and it's from a coaching thing. Like, it's again, you've had plenty of horrible players win medals. So,
I'm gonna bitch about this for the rest of my days. Mason Cox is now a premiership player. I rest my case.
Greg, no, I think a few people thought Naismith could go on with it. So it's a very sound backup option. I think it makes complete sense. And Basoldo gone, Biggie, who was probably the other backup ruckman for the VFL, gone as well. But Kalina back is a huge thing too. So if him and Kalina are doing the ruck work, then Samson Ryan's going to spend time there at some point, but he could be in the ones. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Mitch Moore, thanks for that, Kane. Thanks for reminding us about that.
Now, the other 5 minutes at one on that flag, kicked 2 goals in about 5 minutes.
He did.
Got him over the line.
There's one, Frampton. Cox deserves one more than Frampton.
Oh, Frampton. Oh, my God, Richard, don't start me on that. That is the most least deserving premiership medal you're ever likely to see, I reckon.
Mate,
but he's got one. He's got one.
Ben Marsh from Adelaide. I've seen pieces of wood more effective than Ben Marsh, and he was a premiership player in Adelaide. And then he came to Richmond, thought he was a second coming across, and he was bad. He was worse than Straubs O'Dwyer.
Brad reckons that what we got for Soldo was way overs. We did well draft-wise for what we gained. I agree. I was actually quite shocked with what we ended up with for Soldo. I didn't think we were going to push that hard because traditionally we've given up players relatively easily. But I suppose the difference is that we felt he was a required player and we actually believed what we were saying. It wasn't just a throwaway line. So I think it was about as fair as a trade as you could hope for if you're a Richmond supporter. You can't come away from that disappointed, I don't think.
I still think that Soldo's going to tear it up at Port next year.
I think he will too. I think he's going to flourish. It's going to hurt us. You can't blame him for wanting opportunity. I think for him it makes sense if he's going to be number one ruck. I don't begrudge him whatsoever. But I think we squeezed the lemon as much as we could, I reckon.
I think he'll have a better year than what Nank will for us. And that's the thing that hurts me. I do think long-term keeping Soldo was probably the right call with Nank's injury history and everything. But, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. We got a decent output for him, and let's sort of capitalise on that in the draft.
But you say also, Michaels, that we held firm, but the reality was Port Adelaide needed him because they only offered Lysette 1 year. They needed a ruckman, and Lysette's another version of he's like another poor man's Nankervis almost. a very tough competitive player, but Soldo's come from a very good system, and I think he will fit the Ken Hinkley brand very, very, very well. I agree. I think he'll have a great, and good luck to him. I wish him no ill will. He was a very good servant for us. So
for sure.
That's where I hate Hawkins, because there's no doubt in my mind if Hawkins didn't push him and he did his knee, he'd be our number one ruckman.
Paul has just come up with a big call. He's going to go Worley and say Naismith will push Nank out and be our recruit of the year. That is a huge call.
I don't mind that call.
I'm not saying it's a bad. I would say it's a huge call. It would be, based on potential. It's interesting.
What do you think, boys? Should we go back? Do you reckon Uzo will bring back the one captain policy? What do you reckon is going to happen there? Or are we going to stick with this
110%. We won't have 2 captains.
Yeah, he's already said that he's going to talk to the players about that. So, definitely. I definitely think they'll abolish it. And personally, I hope we go Baker as captain. He's the closest we have to Koch in terms of like on-field, like discipline, leadership, that sort of thing, standing up, setting the tone, doing those team things. So, yeah.
I want Dusty. I just want Dusty as captain team.
On our show before this one, there was some inside mail suggesting that Tom Lynch has been floated as captain as well.
He was the other one.
I agree with Baker, and I wouldn't disagree with Dusty either. Like, but it can't be the dual captaincy. It just hasn't worked. Yeah. And as much as you love, Nank and Grimes for stepping into that role and doing what they have to do, it just wasn't for them, unfortunately. It sounded like a great idea at the time, but it just didn't eventuate how we all had hoped.
The only way I think Dusty as captain works is if we get someone who's going to take over as vice captain who does all the media commitments, because we all know that Dusty will not do the captain's days and all that stuff. So
that's okay though.
Yeah, I mean, Dusty captain, Baker vice. Baker does all the media stuff.
Sci-fi genetics. I actually don't mind the thought of. I wouldn't be upset if Taranto got it either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when. They'll have to play out sometime soon, I guess. Speaking of Dusty, though, good segue, and a very timely thing that happened today, where the mainstream media have finally caught up to the Tigercast that Dusty is already in talks to put pen to paper to extend McClure, not leave. He is not leaving. You knucklehead. Yeah, so we've.
Was manure.
Manure. Sorry. So we flagged this ages ago that he was never, ever had any intention of leaving. It was always about extending his contract to smooth over the payments that are left to enable us to bring in players next year. And that has always been the case. And now it seems to have finally caught up to mainstream media as to what's going on. But, you can say we want about the show, but from where the info comes from on Dusty, it will never, ever be wrong when it comes from here. And I can't tell you why, but you just have to know from where the source is. It just won't be wrong. And it never has been. So the great man staying.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who at least knows of Dusty and his relationship to his old man, his old man instilled in him loyalty. Was like the club did the right thing by you when you stuffed up as a youngster. You stay and you repay them. And anyone who knows Dusty and how close he was with his old man, he's going to take those words to heart. He's not going anywhere at all. He's never going to leave. He's always going to be a Tiger for life. Always.
What I want to see Dusty just sort of hit the early season really hard, just with that steely resolve. He's obviously lost his closest mates at the club in Koch and Jack. And, that's, I suppose, what fueled speculation of leaving. Dimmer, who was like a father figure to him in a lot of ways, gone as well. So he's had his core ripped away from him all at the same time. So it's going to be fascinating to see what his response is like and if he really sort of takes on that leadership mentality and role, which he probably does inadvertently anyway with how he plays. But if he sort of really embraces a lot more, it could be, he could have one of the biggest years of his life. Maybe not statistically, but from an impact for the club perspective.
30-5 against the Blues round 1.
Oh, geez, wouldn't we love that? Wouldn't that just set the G alight?
Imagine if he comes out and does that. Like the whole entire media landscape would lose their freaking minds.
Honestly, I'm excited, and I read one of the comments earlier I've got a nervous excitement about the Tigers for the first time in a long time, because all of a sudden we're going into a preseason without Jack and Koch. All of a sudden, like it's it's like almost like a new club again, isn't it? It's like we're starting again, but we could have a real quick bounce. There's no doubt about with what we've got on that list. How a dickhead like what's it, Josh Jenkins? I think he's still combing the MCG looking for him.
Yeah.
How he could make a call in. No, this just shows you what the media, why actually the Tigercast flourishes and why these guys look like absolute gooses, because we don't bullshit you. We're not after clickbait. How anyone in November or whenever he said October goes, to say any team could be bottom 4 is just stupidity of the highest order. And Josh Jenkins, you are a moron. Like this, you're just a moron. That's all I got to say on it.
Yeah. The way I look at it is next year's a free swing, because this year we missed finals by the bee's dick with some poor injuries. Obviously, Lynch going down and not getting back, Gibcus, and we barely made finals. And that's with Jack Revolt, who couldn't run, couldn't lead, was a witch's hat for 2/3 of the season. Let's be brutally honest. He didn't really offer much. We'll be a better side next year than we were this year, and we barely missed finals this year. If Lynch stays fit, we will challenge for finals.
But there's also that correlation of, and he said any team that has some off-field dramas, there's a correlation with on-field performance.
Yeah.
And we clearly had it. We clearly had issues.
There was clear dissension between the playing group and Dimmer, like it was
100%.
obvious.
And a few people, I'm not sure if either of you have, but a few people I know that have read Cochin's book, it sort of very much alludes to that since the Gold Coast hub, where I suppose his marriage broke down, everything like that it was just never the same, I don't think, from a playing group perspective. And that stood out in the performances. You can't sugarcoat it any other way. It stood out.
I mean, there was a little snippet from Koch's book that was on the Herald Sun, and it was basically admitted that after the hub and obviously the scandal with Alexandra Crowe and Danielle Hardwick and everything like that Dimmer and Koch's relationship fractured and never really repaired. And when there is a fracture in a relationship between coach and captain, who is there to take on the responsibility of leading the players, being the players' advocate between admin and players, it's always going to be a tough ask for a football club to perform well.
Yeah, so I think it's great. Zeeble in, Newman in. I mean, Rap Morris is still coaching the reserves. I think he's been doing a great job there.
Yep.
No. Yeah, and I think, there's obviously been big raps on Uze, and if he brings a more attacking brand of footy, then bring it on, mate. I can't wait.
I think a lot of us liked that, because I think all the talk was that he had to get reined in for being too attacking. So that sort of excites me a little bit.
And Brad James put a strong argument in there as well. We finished 13th, which means we finished in the bottom third. So we get 2 bottom 6 sides twice next year. So we've got an easy fixture.
Yep.
Good
call by Cap.
Alex Rance to the Suns. Interesting. Dimmer just going full Richmond mode here, getting as many Tigers over as he can.
Mid-season recruit in the mid-season draft.
I tell you, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
He did admit in the sort of interview about the position that he's still undecided on whether he's going to pull the boots on again. So he didn't say he wasn't.
When he was at Essendon doing his mentoring stuff there, I think everyone remembers, in pre-season, he was out running and out doing everything of all their players. And their supporters like, oh, how good's this? Rant, he's, doing this, doing that. He might play. It's like, hang on, what about the rest of your actual players are shithouse and can't keep up with him? That's more the concern.
What premiership quality looks like. This is what a player who can win finals looks like.
Yeah, so interesting. I wouldn't be shocked if he, seriously contemplated about that. But
he will not. I'd be amazed. If anything, he might just be a playing coach for their resis or something. Who knows? He won't be playing seniors. But I got to say, his rig. The rig was looking pretty good. I'll give him that. He's looking pretty jacked. But look, again, Richmond man. Good luck to him. I wish him nothing but love. Good luck to you, Ranty.
Is that right? Is that what we're up to? 7,008
Yes.
days for Essendon.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
how good is that? Keep that rolling. That's so good.
It's old enough. The streak's old enough to drink now.
Oh gosh,
Doro, the master. It's almost Doro's time to shine. It's his last.
Keep him on.
Believe he lasted as long as he did.
Yep.
Like they've refreshed the list, the coaching staff, the football department. The one thing that stayed the same since the streak started is Dildoro's been there.
Yep. It's so good. It's such a good reminder. Well done. All right. Well, that is just about it. Thank you again, Min, for sending through your draft information. So for those who've just joined, I'll just go over the three Richmond picks that have been projected by Min, who's one of our very loyal listeners, and he does work in the AFL industry with talent scouting and talent identification. So he's been watching many, many games and many, many hours of the Coates High League and all that kind of stuff. So he knows his shit. So he sent through his mock draft to me 25 minutes before the show. So I'll just recap again the three picks that Min has identified for us. And yeah, I suppose you can go have a look at your own videos and research, and we'll see what comes to light. But pick 31 for Richmond, he had George Stevens from the Victoria Rebels as a Vic Country inside mid. Who's like, what did we say? He was 101 kilos and 189 centimeters, just built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, 101, fridge on legs.
The
pick
physique
40.
of Mark Taylor, apparently.
Pick 43, he had down Kane McAuliffe from North Adelaide, who's a goal-kicking midfielder. And our round 4 selection, pick 58, Sam Van Royen, who is the brother of Jacob at the D's, Claremont's key forward, who I dare say would very much be a project player. But they are the names that Min identified as being potential prospects for us. I'm sure there's there's obviously plenty of other phantom drafts out there that would have some other names linked as well. But next Monday night is the draft, round 1 anyway, and then round 2 onwards on the Tuesday. So obviously not much action for us for Monday night, but we'll be watching very eagerly on the Tuesday, no doubt.
So just on that though, so you're saying Naismith ruck, Kaczynski key forward, Van Rooyen key forward, two
midfields. Yeah.
So we're not looking at flankers all of a sudden. We're not looking at flankers or anything. We think we're loaded up with flankers, are we?
Yeah, we're loaded up.
Which we used to do.
So much so that Shorty, Baker, they're all pushing up into midfield minutes.
Yeah, so that's good.
It'll be interesting. Hopefully, is Shane Edwards still doing recruiting stuff with us?
Or he's Adelaide. He's been Adelaide.
Oh, he's at Adelaide, is he?
Yeah, because he flew over for Koch's 300th.
Oh, that's right. Jeez, that's such a shame. Oh, well, there we go. So that is a wrap for tonight. Thank you so much, gents, for jumping on. Much appreciated. I know it was sort of late notice, but there was just too many sort of Richmondy things that happened today that, kind of allowed for some good talking points, I think.
Maybe we should do a Christmas show.
Oh, maybe.
Hey.
Jeez, you can dress up. Surely you've got a costume of some description that you can pop on.
Not the kind of costumes that would be suitable for the show.
Captain Blood only fans, right? Just
Let's get
the bathrobes.
No worries. We will say hi to Tiggs, EJ as well. So, like I said, it's a little bit of late notice, so it's kind of hard to get everyone together that late. But if we don't do another one before Christmas, I think we should. do one before Christmas.
We would probably do a post-mortem.
All right, we'll do a
post-draft.
All right, we'll do a post-draft, and then actually maybe we'll leave it a week or two afterwards, because don't we do our campers and we do our little camp thing as well, don't we?
Yep. So maybe 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half after the draft, because you got the rookie draft, I believe, on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, so. and they get thrown straight into wherever I don't know where we're doing our camp this year, if they're doing one at all under Uze. But we'll do a one after all that's said and done, and we'll catch up then. 3 weeks now. Okay, fair enough. All right, thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Much appreciated. Thank you, CB and Grok. And until next time, go Tigers.
Go the Aussies. Come on, Aussies. In that World Cup.
Yeah, moral victory.
Go solar panels, Pat. Solar panels. Change the world.
Thanks, guys. And thank you again, Min, for sending through your mock draft. You're a legend, mate. Catch you later.